Today's questioner asks, how do I establish personal boundaries? Before we start talking about establishing boundaries, I think it's helpful to understand why boundaries are important. Boundaries help us preserve our physical, mental, and emotional energy for things that we want or need to do. The things we want to do are those things that bring us joy, pleasure, and fun. The things we need to do are adult responsibilities like a load of laundry when we're out of clean underwear. Everything else you get to decide if you want to devote your energy to it. Once you've gotten clear on what falls on your want or need list, everything else you have the option of saying no to. And it can be as simple as that. No. No, thank you. Thank you, but no. That doesn't work for me. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You don't need to apologize. You can simply decline any offer that you don't want to devote your energy or resources to. If you're struggling with that, here's another way to look at it. Every yes is also a no. There are only so many hours in a day. If a friend calls and asks you to take care of their kids on a day you had planned to run errands or get started on an exciting project for your side hustle, you'll have to say no to those things in order to say yes to your friend. Alternatively, you can say no to your friend in order to say yes to what you had already planned to do with that day. Before you vocalize your boundaries, here are some important questions to ask yourself to help determine where you want to draw the line. Are you currently spending more energy than you're replenishing? A good indicator here is if you're burnt out or consistently tired, overwhelmed, and stressed out. Are you resentful every time you say yes to this particular someone or something? Is the person seeking your assistance, time, or energy asking for help on something that is above and beyond their everyday responsibilities? This is a big gray area. Work with a coach, therapist, or trust your instinct on this one. Now is a great time to download my free Boundaries Quick Start Guide. It will guide you through 6 simple yes or no questions to help you determine where you want to start drawing your boundaries with the people, situations, and things in your life. I'll add a link to download your copy in the show notes below. There are a few key takeaways here. First, make sure you've got enough energy to share. If you don't, then it won't do anyone any good for you to dip into an empty well to try and help. Focus on refilling your own mental, emotional, and physical energy first. Get really good at saying no and carving out time for self-care, which is the only way we can refill our energy. If you struggle to figure out how to make self-care work for you and your life, get my free self-care toolkit. I'll add a link in the show notes below. Second, if someone or something leaves you feeling frustrated or resentful, it's a good indicator that you're ready to draw a boundary there. Practice saying no the next time they ask you for something. Third, begin to get clear on the fact that you're not responsible for anyone but yourself. You can be responsible to those who are in need above and beyond their everyday responsibilities. But you are not responsible for the thoughts, actions, or needs of anyone but yourself. There's one exception here if you're the parent to young children. As your children get older, your job is to gradually teach them to be responsible for themselves as you shift to being responsible to them. Boundary work is big and it can be hard. If you're just starting to dip your toe into the pool of boundary work, I'd suggest starting with easy boundaries. Try saying no to bringing brownies to the school bake sale on the week you have a major work event. You can also practice your boundary muscle with things instead of people. We can construct boundaries with things, people, and ourselves. The easiest way to practice boundaries is often with things. Try giving away the clock you hate that your in-laws gifted to you, or the jeans that always make you feel fat but you paid so much money for you feel guilty not wearing. Since things can't express disappointment or frustration, it's a great place to start building your boundary muscle. Again, this is big work. It can be hard, and it's incredibly rewarding and beneficial. If you're just beginning to explore boundaries, a coach can be invaluable to offer insight and guidance as you learn to navigate many of these gray areas. There's often a big self-worth and self-love component that comes into play when we begin to enforce boundaries, and a coach or therapist can also be helpful as you work through these things. If you're interested in learning more about working with me, schedule a no-cost discovery session today, and let's start the conversation. I'm sending you a great big hug. You've got this. I hope you enjoyed this bit of solicited advice. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to be notified whenever I post new content.